Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, another video and another trick. If you're into coin magic, sadly you're out of luck because it's a card trick. A lot of people say to me, why don't you do more coin magic on the channel? And the reason being is that these hands are not very good at handling coins. I know what most of you are thinking, well, you're not that much better with a pack of cards, and you could well be right, but I do prefer card magic over coins. So today's trick, a deck of cards, you can have these examined and get a spectator to shuffle these. It's important that they mix them up. Are you satisfied that they're mixed? Yeah. I'm going to choose a card and you're going to choose a card in that order. I'm going to take a card from these shuffled cards. Wow, you did mix these up. My favourite card is this one. The Lady, the Queen of Hearts. That is my favourite card. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this so that you can't choose the same card as me. So I'm going to take this card, the Queen, and remove it. And you're going to pick a card from the remaining 51. Remember, you shuffled these so they're in an order designated by yourself. So please push out any of those cards while I hold on to mine. This one here is what you want. An absolute free choice from the cards. Two cards. I chose first, you followed. I chose the Queen of Hearts. You just happened to choose the next of kin, the Queen of Diamonds. There it is, two cards chosen by us. Now at this point you can end the trick there. It's a great revelation. You've both chosen cards from a pack shuffled by them. But let's go on to a second part if you wish. We're going to go one stage further. From these cards that you shuffled, I'm going to choose another card, but this time I'm not going to show you the face. You see, yeah, I'm going to go for this one. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick out 3, 4, 5 other cards. This way it's less for you to choose. So there's 5 cards here. I'm just going to mix them up. But what I'd like you to do is pick any one of these. Remember, it's a free choice. Just touch any one of these. You want the one in the middle, this one here. Are you sure? You can change your mind if you wish. You're happy with that? I'm going to take your card and we're going to look at that in a moment, because a lot of people say, but we haven't seen the other cards yet. So I want to prove to you that you could have had a free choice. It could have been the 8 of clubs. It could have been the 8 of hearts, the 10 of diamonds, or even the Jack of Hearts. This is the card that you freely chose. And it just happens to be another kin of the Queens. But that's not the amazing thing. What amazes me is that the card that I picked before you just happens to be the Queen as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little effect. In fact, it was 2 effects in one. The good thing about this, it's very modular because you can do both of those routines back to back, or you can just do the first part and end it there. I do like the first part because it's impromptu. You use a regular deck of cards, they shuffle them. What you do is when you take the cards back, you're going to choose a card, but keep the faces towards yourself, because as you pick them up, what I'm doing here is looking at this face card. Now, they happen to have shuffled the 8 of hearts. That means that when I go through the pack, I hold these up so they can't see this. I hold these up and I go through and I say, I'm going to pick out my favourite card. What I'm actually looking for is the other 8. So as I go through, I'm looking for the 8 of diamonds. And as I go through and I come to the 8 of diamonds, I push it up like this. As I pull this out to show them the single card, the 8 of diamonds, this hand is gathering up the cards into a nice square, so they're all squared up, and I'm going to push this across and get a break under the top 8 like that. So that's what you're doing as you pull this out, but remember to keep these cards faces towards yourself. Show them the card here. As you come back, I put this on the face and say, I'm going to keep my card. Can you see what I've done? I've squared the card up. And I hold it and say, look, I'm going to keep my card. You can grab this like this. Everything seems clean because they did just see you pull out a single card and freely show it. So as you do this and pull this off, I then flip it over. Remember, you've got 2 cards here, the 2 8s. I then put the pack down as I transfer this into my left hand. Left or right makes no difference, but just keep your fingers around it to keep it square. You've got a single card, or what they believe to be a single card. You say, I've chosen a card. You now spread these and ask them to push out any card, and they do get any card. The face is neither here nor there because they don't see that. But after you spread the card, I'm not sure if the presentation video showed you this, but all I did is just this. I put a little bit of saliva, I just lick my thumb, or you can lick your finger. As you spread this, you ask them to push it out. In that moment, you just do this, and I just wipe it on the back of the card. They choose a card, I put it like this, and I then square them up. Now at this point, you just flip over the card and say, I chose the 8 of diamonds, and you chose the next of kin, the 8 of hearts. Now remember that what you have here is their card. Now the saliva won't stay wet for long, so it will start to come away from the pack. You can then turn these over and put these on the table if you're going to do the follow-on routine. If you're not, then once you've flashed these like this, you can just square them up, add them to the pack, the trick's done and dusted. It's a great effect. If you do want to carry on to the second routine, then once you've shown these, square them up. Be careful because the saliva would have dried out by now, so they're not going to hold together that well. Square them up and put them down on the table. Once they're on the table, you move on. Now at this point, you've got 3 cards there, but they still believe there's 2. That's important. You carry on with the routine, and I turn the cards over, and what I look for is one of the other 8s. Again, I hold these towards myself and I say, I'm going to pull out a card, but this time not show you. What I've done, I've pulled out one of the black 8s. You then say, I'm going to remove another 5 cards for you to choose from. One of them is going to be the other 8. You just go through pushing up a few cards like this until you've got a total of 5 cards. I strip these out. There is the 8 on top. Now this move we've done before in other routines on the channel. You ask someone to point to a card. By the way, I did this a couple of nights ago and this was just an amazing time. Why? Do you know when you do these tricks where you have to kind of force a card on someone, but you don't have to even try? They pick the one you wanted. This happened to my 2 friends the other day. I said to them, out of these 5 cards, just pick one of these cards. He picked this. he actually pointed to the one that I want. Can you imagine my delight inside? I was like screaming and shouting, going, yes, because he had actually chosen. I didn't have to do any moves or sleights or anything at all. How often does that happen, guys? You know, he chose that, and I really pushed this. I said, you have an absolute free choice. You chose this, and it matches this. But in the likelihood that they don't choose the one, it's on top. If they choose this one, you slide it out and you put it on top and you square the cards, but you're going to get a break under the top card like this. I then take off that. I've got two cards as one now. I take that off and I put it here and hold it and say, we'll come back to your card at the end, because a lot of people don't believe that these are all different cards. So I square the cards up. The move is perfect. It's a great move. You show the other cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they apparently chose this, which you point out, do you know what, that's amazing, that matches the other 8s. But beyond that, it matches a card that I chose before you even picked yours. It's got so many factors there that gives it that boom, boom, one after the other. As I said, you may prefer just to do the first part with a match and end it there, or you may prefer to move on to the second part on there. Or you may prefer to do just the second part of getting a card to match one that you've selected. I'll leave it up to you. Any ideas you come up with, if you want to share them in the community of the channel, please leave them in the description below. Trust me, not just me, but other viewers, we really do appreciate it when some of you more experienced card handlers kind of give ideas of how it can be improved. Till next time, practice, and as always, enjoy.